Hey everyone, Maury Dunbar here at Painted Studio. Welcome back on a Tuesday afternoon. I appreciate you being here. Give me just a second to load up my page. Come on. It all takes forever. All right. Okay. Make sure the volume's off so I don't hear myself on echo, but this way, if you have comments while I'm live, I can see them. All right, today we're going to go about foiling food tins. Now, sometimes you get things like cookies. I have tea tins. I have all kinds of tins that I love, and I hate throwing these away because, you know, they're expensive packaging, and they're also extremely useful. So, I have a couple hot chocolate tins here. This one is an old Jock Torres one, and I have another one that was from Williams-Sonoma. And by the way, when you see my Williams-Sonoma, don't get all jazzed. I go in and I wait until well after Christmas and buy the hot cocoa because I like a little bit of it in my coffee, and I don't like regular hot cocos because they're too sugary. I like the shredded chocolate one, so I wait until well after the holidays when everything goes on sale to use them. All right, enough babble about that. I am gonna flip this down and we're gonna start. So I'm kind of a perfume junkie, and one of the things I love to do is get samples and decants and stuff of fragrances. And what I really like doing is then I have something to put them away in, and I don't have anything right now. So I thought it would be fun to take these tins and make them special containers for all my little samples and everything, so that anything I want to keep, either to put on my wish list for a bigger bottle or just so that I have the little one around. I do that with these containers. Now, this one has a lot of embossed lettering on it and stuff. And so I'm picking a pattern of foil to kind of bury that a little, so it just sort of disappears from what it was to what I'm going to be. Now, I'm going to show you how I prepped all of this and did all of this, but because of the way time works, I'm probably going to foil this, well, in a minute. I'm going to foil it first because there's going to need to be some dry time on it so I can finish at least one of these today. So this has been primed with our Whitsun Superior. It's been cleaned. It's been primed with Whitsun Superior Adhesion Primer. I used a coat of Roberson's liquid metal in royal gold on here, not because I was changing the colors. If you look at the lid, you can see it was already gold, but I needed stuff that was going to grab and give me a base. And there was print and everything on here that I did not want to show. So the first one I'm going to do is going to be bronze granite. And once I foil this and seal this, we'll go back to the other ones and we'll work on our prep. Now, I am specifically choosing an easy release foil. Our V-Masks release super, super easy. Why am I doing that? Because I did all of this prep work today. And so I know there's a good chance when I'm rushing something like this that it could tear down to the base color. I don't want that to happen. So I'm picking the easiest release foil I can come up with for this. And we're going to do this way. So now I'm going to give it a rub. And V-Masks release really super easy. And that's one of the things I love about them. Now, these foils, this bronze granite, this is not a fabric-friendly foil. Do not try it on clothes. And people always ask, well, what if I use a foil that's not fabric-friendly on fabric? Well, will it stick to the adhesive? Absolutely. Will it hold up in the washing machine? Absolutely not. And that's what the big deal is. Let me go grab my scrubber, which of course I forgot. Your adhesive will still be there, but your foil won't be after it comes out of the washing machine. It's not meant to be washed. It's not meant to have that kind of use. This is meant for solid, stable surfaces. And so again, I will say, do not use this for fabric. You won't have a happy result. It'll look great for about 10 minutes, and then it'll be useless. So we're going to do this. I have put foil adhesive and everything on up to the point where the lid meets here. Why didn't I do that? Because when you put these lids on and they have to slide down, I don't want any adhesive, I don't want any paints, I don't want anything interfering with the way I'm going to open and close my containers. I just don't want that to happen. Now, V-mask foils, these, when I say V-mask, they're now all made by a private manufacturer, but the company that used to make them was V-mask, and they've been sold to somebody else, but they are known as V-mask foils. Often have sort of a frosted carrier sheet, so you see frosty like this, as opposed to a very clear one, which most of the other foils have. And it's just the way they're made. So, but when you see the pattern on the roll, it will not look as intense as it will once we lift the carrier film off of here. It will be much, much more glamorous looking. So as you see right here, look how gorgeous and shiny that is. Now, I'm gonna remove this, but it didn't get into all the lettering, which I'm not surprised. So I'm going to have to put a little more foil over the areas that had the lettering and the embossing on here, just so I get a full release, because I don't want to emphasize the lettering. I want it to kind of disappear. But I knew that might happen. So we're going to just keep going, giving it nice scrubs, good release. And really, look at how beautiful that looks on there. Now, I had a little bit there that needs some attention because the foil folded back on itself. I know, shocker. Foil folding back on itself when it's very curly like this. Let me grab, this is one of my toothbrushes that I did not shorten the bristles on. Purposely, so I have one with a little short bristles if I need it in a stiff spot, which I would probably need for the lettering, and then one with regular bristles, just because I need to get into it. And here's the difference. Here are my two toothbrushes. There's the regular one, here's the one I've trimmed down. And you should be able to see the difference in the height of the bristles right there. So I'm going to take this back over the lettering. I'm going to take my stiffer one and just kind of go. Now I am going in circles, but that's because I've already released most of my foil, so I'm not worried about anything showing up scratched. All I want to do is just make sure I'm burying this lettering and this embossed pattern as much as I can. I really, really don't want to see it. I want this to look like something that was made for what I'm doing with it, not hot cocoa tin. Now let's see if I can get in here. This is the little tiny logo on the top is the hardest part. But I'm going to give it a little extra work on there, and it's working. Yeah, that pretty much buried it. I got a few more spots on the bigger parts that need a little more attention. And that's really hiding everything really well. That's why I picked this pattern versus a solid metallic or something else. I really wanted this granity, wonderful, gorgeous granity pattern to bury what had been under here before. Now, let me come back here because there was a spot that got missed. All right, there's that. All right, and I'm turning it around, even though, you know, you can sort of see hints of what it was. It takes a lot more effort now to see. Let me take my little toothbrush, see what had been the original, you know, little cabin in the woods thing that was on here. I know you didn't see that. I know what this pattern had been, but you saw it before I put the foil on it. Come down in here. And take a little stiff brush for anything that needs to get into crevices. And let's come back over here. I am just going to get this as foiled can be. And it's working very, very well. The extra work is because I have so much texture that I'm trying to bury, not because the foil's not releasing. And there we go, pretty much done. All right, we're going to take the bottom, and I'm just going to put my foil over that. Take my toothbrush to get into these little edge crevices. I'll have to pop it a little bit and fold it down in, get my fingernail down in it. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to get it all in. And I have one little spot right there that's going to need a little extra attention. And look at how beautifully that covers and how pretty that pattern is. And as always, your undercolor matters. I thought about painting this black, but I didn't want any peaking areas to read black. I wanted it to read metallic. So I wanted it to look solidly metallic everywhere I put anything, and so I went with gold. I could have gone with other colors, but gold was what I really wanted to see happen on this. So let me come back and make sure I haven't missed anything, and we are just about good to go. This little logo area up on top is just, it's going to be my work area. Why? Because the printing is small and it's raised, and I got to work it in there. Fortunately, this is such a good release foil that it allows me to do that. So here it is. You can sort of see the lettering on there, but a lot of it disappears. And so what's going to happen is once I seal this, I'm going to do everything else on back. I know it will be on this seam. I'm prepared for that. That had been, again, something I planned because I'm going to kind of, again, make as much of this go away as possible. Now, the last thing I have to do is the lid. I still have so much foil left on here. I'm just going to take little bits and pieces of it, and I did not foil up here. I didn't put paint and I didn't prime up here because it will make it easier to handle later on. It won't wear the same way. Again, all of this is the consideration of what I'm personally doing with it. How you want to do it, you could foil and lid the whole thing. Now, I did a laundry container that I picked up at Target, I don't know, a year or so ago. And that's in my laundry room. And the one thing that's the problem is, you know, I did everything, including the handle. And it just is a little awkward. It doesn't want to wear for the use that I am putting it through. I would have, if I'd realized that I probably would not have foiled the handle on it, I would have just sort of said, that's not what I'm going to do. I would have left the handle alone, and I foiled the handle, and it doesn't, even with a great top coat and everything on it, because I use it and it's a tight lid, it's not my favorite way to do it. So I am taking my learning clues from that and doing this one a little differently. Now I'm going to come in here everywhere I put foil adhesive and paint and stuff, I'm going to just put my foil on. And the thing is, if I get a little bit up here and I'm not happy with it, I can take a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol and that will go away. Let's get this up here. I am so happy that it is officially spring. I'm really, really happy that March is almost over. March has sort of always been a bad news month for me. Weird things happen in March for me that I'm never happy about, so I'm really, really glad it's almost done with. And we can move on into real spring instead of March leftovers of weather from all months. So I'm going to be putting lettering and a little perfume bottle on here, but to make that work really well, I want to seal it first. So I'm going to use some Faux Effects Aqua Guard in gloss. You can use it in satin if you want. You don't have to use it in gloss, but I'm going to use what I got, and that's gloss. And I'm just going to seal all this up. And the reason for that is that, okay, where is it? This mounting tape, this backing tape that or the carrier tape is adhesive. And if I just put it directly over the foil, it can damage it. You know, it can pull it back a little. I never get a clean, just this release. It always pulls some foil off on the carrier tape and it can spoil how it looks. And I don't want to do that. So I'm putting a thin coat of Aqua Guard on here. And this will be ready to go for me to put the lettering on and then reseal the lettering as well, because I like to double seal everything. I want to make sure it wears really well. Alright, so I got that on there. I should have put this down because now I just stuck my finger in it. So that once this is dry and I put this on, it will not peel back any of the foil. And that's really, really important to me. So I feel like I'm rushing a little today. Sorry about that if I am. It's just been a very busy day. I was out of the office all day yesterday. So some of this is, I feel like I'm just like on 3 cups of coffee slammed down right now. Right, I am sealing this edge up, but I will come back with a Q-tip and clean the top here to get any little fuzzy spots I don't like. All right, so that's going to sit and dry. We're going to then go back to the basics of prepping a different can, which is this one. My little Jacques Torres hot chocolate. Now this is Jacques Torres, if you're not familiar, he's a New York City chocolatier icon, and I treat myself once a year to a can of his hot cocoa, and then I keep the containers. But there's always stickers and labels and stuff. This was their peppermint version. So I need to get all of this stuff off. Now you can use Goo Gone. I am using, because I used up all my Goo Gone and I just happen to have a container of contractor solvent. It all works the same way. You're basically dissolving the adhesive. And then I'm coming back in with an X-Acto knife. I can come in with a brush. I can come in with a razor blade. And I'm just scraping off those labels. Now, if this gives me too much trouble, I'll figure out another way to get off. But the first thing to do is get these off. And I want to put on a pair of gloves because I really don't want to ruin my nails. So give me just a second to grab a glove. Yep, I gotta reach for it. Here we go. I'm trying not to ruin my manicure, which I don't know what the contractor solvent will do, and I don't really want to find out. So, give me a second. I'm putting on a pair of gloves. There we go. And yes, I do buy my gloves in bulk. If anybody needs to know where you buy gloves in bulk, you can buy them literally in 500s off of Uline. And I do that because between epoxy and solvents and sanding and materials, I really, really, really am trying to keep my hands out of some of the chemicals. So gloves help. Oops, dropping it. Let's see how this comes off. You just need to give the stuff a little bit of chance to get in there. And sometimes it comes off easier than others. Now, if I'd been smart, I would have done this off camera, but I thought this was gonna peel easy peasy and not give me a hard time, but it wants to give me a hard time. Because, why? Because I'm on camera. I will tell you, I think Goo Gone for stickers is like my favorite thing. I think it works better than this. It has a nice citrusy smell. I don't believe Goof Off does as well. I don't believe Crud Cutter does as well. For stickery label things, Goo Gone is my favorite. But right now, I'm using what I got. And let's try to get this one off here, see if that one actually needs. Most of these Best Buy labels peel off pretty okay. She says, hopefully. And it's not peeling off okay, it's just going to stick. These have been on here a while, I've had these tins for a while. So, yeah. Got that one scraped off with a regular razor blade. And anybody looking and saying, why razor blade like this so short? I cut sometimes I cut them in half just because I need them for smaller spaces. Use a little tin snip, cut them in half. Okay, come on. There we go, now it's starting to peel off really well. There we go. Let's see if I can get some of that residue adhesive off easily. Or if I'm going to need to spray, I think I need to spray a little more on there. Where's my goop? There we go. Let's get this side. And yeah, this is goopy and kind of messy and all that stuff. Now you can buy tins that don't have coatings and stuff on them, that don't have labels. You know, people, they manufacture them for all kinds of things. I don't like, I'm one of those people, it's not jars, it's the tins. I don't know what it is. I love tins, always have. And so I always want to try to find a way to repurpose them. Must harken back to the Danish cookie days of my childhood, which we never had, but somebody would always gift us some, and I loved the tins. You know, everybody's mom used them for a sewing box except mine. My mom would get rid of the tins. I'd be so bummed that she'd do that. Go. That's just about cleared off. Clear up the mess that I've spilled in front of me. Okay, let's come in here with a scrubber. And yes, obviously I use my brushes for multiple purposes, so I'll scrub both my foils and my containers with the same brush. long as it gets the job done, that's all I care about. All right, so let's get this off. Come on, a little more adhesive left. Let's see if I can get a little more off with this thing. There we go. There's the last of it. All gone. On there. Let's check this one. Oh, that just dissolved, so that's going to just wipe right off. And then there's the last bit of this here. Do I care if I scratch the lid? No. Why? Because I'm going to prime over it. Alright, so got all of that off. Wipe it all down. Now I cannot paint over this stuff. I have to move this away. I'll put it over there to put back on a shelf. I'm going to wipe my hands off and throw that piece of towel away. Now I need to wipe everything down with alcohol. I need to remove any last little bit of solvent and anything else that's on here. Of paper towel, get that good and clean. You can use denatured. I'm using 99% alcohol right now because that's what I have in that little spray bottle, because that's what's near me. Both will work well to degrease. I don't know if I'm going to keep that lid or not. I doubt it. I don't need it. You can hear it squeaking. All right, so the last thing I want to do, and I just want to do this here because I don't want to change my paper right now. I just want to wipe that up, get that solvent off there. This is parchment paper, so I can do that. There we go. All cleaned up. Now I can take my gloves off and get my hands back where I need to be for painting and priming. All right, so I've cleaned this off. I've done all of that. The next thing I want to do is put the lid back on, because unlike this can, there's no lip right here showing me where one thing, you know, where my edge will be. Oh God, there's still a little bit of stuff on there, so I need to spray. So how do I fix that? Very simple. Sharpie. Sharpie's your friend. I take a Sharpie and I'm going to draw a line underneath the edge of the lid. So here we go. Everything's done there. There's always a little alcohol left in here, so I'm trying to handle this carefully. All right, so now I have a line drawn, and you won't be able to see it well because, why? Because it's black ink on a brown can. But I am going to tape that off so that I have a good, clean stopping place for all my priming and everything. And why am I priming this? I could probably sand the can and maybe my foil adhesive would stick well, but it's that word, maybe. I can't guarantee it. If I prime it properly, everything sticks the way I want it to stick. So I've got that all cleaned up. I've got my can edge marked. I'm going to fold it under just so it doesn't do bad sticky things. And so that's how we prep the cans before painting. I must be missing stuff because I keep picking up that lid and getting an oily edge which means I didn't get all the solvent off the edge. All right, here we go. That's ready to go. Now we're going to take our Whitson's Superior Adhesive Primer. This is from, I poured this into a little can from a big can to be able to tint a little bit and not have to tint the whole can because I don't always want it tinted. Pop this lid open. I tinted this with Faux Effects Faux Color Black. Takes into it, this is an extremely high bonding primer, which is important when you have a surface that can be a challenge, like, oh, I don't know, an enameled metal tin. So we're going to brush this on the entire surface. You can see how well it covers. A little water in my brush, so it's going to want to be drippy. Now this primer is made for hard to bond surfaces, and since I don't know how anything's going to take to this surface because of what I've done to it and what it was made with and all of that stuff, I pick a super high bonding primer. If Faux Effects still made Primetch, I might use that, but they don't, so I'm not. It's been discontinued for a couple years now, and that's why we carry the Whitson's, which is just fabulous. It is so good. I have applied this to cleaned, shiny tile and tested tape on it, and within 30 minutes, I was able to do a tape test on it and not release a single bit of primer. Oh, folks, I dropped it. Yeah, I hate when I do stupid stuff like that. And now I'm going to have to clean up all of my little finger marks. I am such a genius sometimes. I turn it around and see if I got stuff on the other side I have to clean up. Well, I'm not dissolving my manicure, I'm certainly coating it. Because I just dropped that. I'm so smart. You all want to be smart like me. Alright, so let's get the lid done. And get everything on the lid done except the one spot that I'm gripping it with, which I then drop to the table and carefully try to get that little spot. I'm sure there's better ways than I'm doing this today, but this is how I'm doing it today. I said I feel like I've had like 6 cups of coffee and it's just me trying to get things done. All right. So there's that primed. We're going to let that dry. I have spent all that time cleaning and priming, so that should dry. Should be able to put the stickers on to my bottle here. So I am going to cut this off because I don't have it lined up exactly the way I want it. One's going to go under the other. Now I'm giving this a little rub with my fingers so it sticks to the backing, the mounting tape, and let's do this. Let's hope I've let this dry enough because I am kind of pushing this. Come on, come off there. And when it's like stickers like this, I just sort of lightly peel it off. And let's get that here. It's going to be a little tight for the lettering, but I will make it fit. There's that. Get that stuck on here. And peel back the carrier film. There we go. Stuck nicely on there really well. And we're going to do the same with the lettering. And then I'm going to come back and seal it up again because I want to make sure my lettering is really a part of this. Let's peel that off. And I just cut these on my Cricut. If you don't have a Cricut and you want something like this, message me. I will get it done for you. All right. Let's get that on here. I'm pretty good at getting it on here fairly straight, but again, this is for me, I'm not going to lose my mind if I get a little crooked. So here we have our little perfume bottle sticker, and it says samples on here. And then I'm going to come back with whatever brush I used to seal this, because I can't remember. Go. And if I have to, I'm going to just pull a fresh brush since I can't remember which one I'm pulling out of the water that was fresh. And that was that was, I don't know. I'm not going to make a mess out of it. We're just going to use a fresh brush. That's why I have jars and jars of brushes. Let's not make ourselves too crazy. All right, so this is all done. I'm going to come back in. Now normally I'd let this dry a little longer, but we're on a live. So we're trying to get things done. I want this well sealed because I will be putting things that are alcohol or oil based in here, meaning perfume samples and that sort of thing. So the better it's sealed, the better it works. Now, water-based sealants and top coats are rarely completely alcohol resistant, although Varnish Plus is better for that. But this is, again, this is a little tin. It's going on my dresser. I'm not worrying about it. I just want it well sealed so that once it's ready to go, it will hold up well. And I know many people wonder what the differences are in all of the top coats from Faux Effects, everything from AquaGuard to Varnish Plus to Aquathane to C500. All of them have different interior and exterior ratings and different heavinesses and hardnesses. All right, those are going to sit there. They're going to dry. Now, I was going to come back to my jar here, but that hasn't had enough time to dry. I worked faster than I thought I was going to do. So all of that is going to, all that primer is going to sit here overnight, or at least for a while, so I can put the next layer of paint over it. And when I paint it, I'm going to be applying a layer of Roberson's in Royal Gold, same as I did with the other one. I'm using the same base color. And then I will apply a layer of Artsyville foil adhesive over that and let it dry overnight. And really, even though I rushed it and I got a good result today, with stuff that's not porous like metal and glass, overnight is usually the minimum I would let something cure, because it needs the extra evaporation time for moisture to come out so that the foil adhesive is well and truly set onto your product and you get a really good release. Because I'm rushing things just for a live, you're putting wet on top of fresh wet on top of fresh wet on top of fresh wet. And you don't generally, and when I say fresh wet, I mean a layer of fresh wet product on a brand fresh layer of some other product that was just barely dried. So that's really what I consider still fresh and wet. The best thing you want to do is give appropriate dry times between each layers. I got a great result today, even though I rushed it a little. I'm going to let this tin can set up so I get all of these layers, and then tomorrow I will come back and foil it and seal it up. We are going to use, for the other one, I think we're going to use muted gold. I like that idea on there. I don't know if I'll do that for the live tomorrow. It may be done by the time I get around to a live, but we'll have fun things going for tomorrow's live too. All right, everybody, thanks for letting me kind of strangely zip through all this. I know I was talking at a mile a minute, but if you have any questions, if I didn't make any sense, absolutely leave a comment, send me a message, but I prefer comments because if you didn't understand, chances are I made it so other people didn't understand too. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.